Well, welcome back to Oracle TV. It's a pleasure to be sitting next to my next guest, Adam Brown, Chief Operating Officer of Quori. Adam, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here and for being part of the Oracle defense ecosystem.
Well, it's an honor, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, let's start with Quori, the work that you're leading, the work that you're leading across defense, the problems you're solving. Can you share more with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So Quori is an operational intelligence system. What we're doing is empowering our global defense organizations with immediate AI data-driven insights and therefore decision advantage. The problem we're solving is, in this day and age, a lot of threats, state actors make very unpredictable non-obvious moves. And what Quori does is essentially bring that fragmented information and data together to make predictions of high risk 24 hours, 72 hours, depending on the problem set in advance. So with regards to that, a commander can therefore make an immediate decision, very quick and easy to use, very fast to deploy Quori. It doesn't require a lot, so you don't need to reinvent your capabilities because a lot of organizations, including military organizations, have a lot of sensors. Where all those sensors are is sort of dependent in terms of can you utilize them to best effect. And really what Quori does is cut through that fog to give that decision advantage immediately. So at the touch of a button, we can tell you where your problem's going to be, your highest risk area tomorrow. So you're intelligence-led and proactive in your decision-making rather than reactive.
So predicting the risk and seeing the risk early and being able to act quickly has been part of the defense mission since the beginning of warfare. And so, but what makes that challenge even harder at this moment today?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. And I think Steve Rigby touched on it earlier in terms of since the beginning of time, commanders have needed to make faster decisions than the adversary, because at the end of the day, if you can do that, you're on the path to success. Now, unpredictability in terms of deception or capabilities like that an enemy might use are all part of that process and that factor. So Quori, with its machine learning aspect, can make sense of those problems, and it's constantly adapting and evolving because an adversary doesn't stand still. It is constantly changing in terms of their motions and their unpredictability. So for us, being end users ourselves, former military and intelligence, a lot of the company are, this is a capability that we would have wanted in our hands when we were doing our operations 10, 15, 20 years ago when we were serving. We see a lot of grey state acting now in terms of what we're doing with our maritime capability, for instance, is vessels that don't want you to know where they're going are quite obviously going dark. They're putting in spoofing maneuvers. But it's about what little crumbs of information and intelligence they leave behind that our capability can then pick up and obviously make sense of to give a commander that immediate advantage. In terms of this is where the problem is going to be tomorrow. With UK MOD, we're working on critical national infrastructure on land. We do some border security work across Africa and some European countries. And again, these are large areas where you're essentially with a sensor looking through a straw, and you might have lots of these different sensors. But if you don't know where to put the sensor, then you can't obviously be proactive, you're reactive. And that's not what we want in this day and age.
Where can I see this? I want to see an example of this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're at our booth just around the corner, and we've got the maritime capability up at the moment, but we can obviously put the land one up as well. So yeah, you can come around and see. We'd be happy to give a demo.
And on that demo, you're showing, what's the example? Is it sea?
Yeah,
is it land?
It's at sea on the main demo, but we can pull the land one up as well. At sea at the moment, it's a really interesting space. The recent conflict, if people weren't aware before, the Strait of Hormuz, we're operating in Southeast Asia. We're in Singapore as well as London. It's a heavily contested space, and that strait, the Singapore Strait, Malacca Strait, has considerably more traffic coming through than the Strait of Hormuz does. But people want to know who's there. We've got a lot of underwater infrastructure that's also susceptible to potential nefarious actions that are unattributable to a state or an organization that doesn't want you to know. So again, if you can be forewarned, as the saying goes, you're forearmed, and essentially Quori is helping that problem set.
So you are part of the Oracle defense ecosystem, and this has been built to get innovation to warfighters quickly, efficiently. So how is this going to help Quori grow and reach more?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity, and we're thrilled. We've had a lot of support from Oracle in the last 18 months in particular. The analogy I use, it's like an older sibling. The older siblings forged the path previously. As a small company, as an SME, sometimes the doors are difficult to find. And when you do find the door, it's still quite difficult to pass through. So with Oracle's capability, especially we're seeing a lot of clients wanting sovereign solutions, and that exposure, that sort of breadth that Oracle brings, as well as the sort of back support that we receive from them. For us, there's a lot of benefits to being partnered and working within the ecosystem, and also a lot of other great companies within the ecosystem where we can all share ideas and bounce off each other, and ultimately successfully move business forward for all parties. So it's a team, and it's good to be part of this team.
Absolutely, and we're thrilled to have you as part of the team. Well, thank you so much for spending some time talking with us. Prediction of the risk,
Yeah.
that is critical
Yeah.
to the defense mission. So we
Yes.
appreciate your time.